How's it going? I hope you are doing well and having a good day so far. Today we are going to talk about FCF, aka Fuzzy Finder, as suggested by a few different comments actually. I've gotten a few comments on it, so I figured it's worth making a video about it. It does have the sort of same fuzzy match capabilities as dmenu, but dmenu of course is a menu, and FCF runs directly in the command line, and it actually has one unique feature that I think sets it apart from dmenu, so it is actually worth having both and thinking about how you could use both in scripting. So I'm just going to kind of go through the basics of FCF and, get you started with it. So first of all, here is their GitHub. You can install it, you can git clone this and install it from source, or you can get it from the AUR or your distro's package manager. And you can also set up shell integration. So it is not just a command, it's actually able to integrate into your shell, and I'll give you a few examples of how that works, but just set it up in the config of your shell of choice. They give you the lines here, so that easy. Just stick it in your shell config, and there's also more options you can go through and configure if you wanted to. The documentation is actually pretty extensive here, and I did want to point out it does have a Vim and NVim plugin available if you wanted to set it up with that. I'm not really going to go through that in this video, but I did just want to point that out so you're aware it exists, right? Anyways, I have conveniently cloned the repository here for that, just to actually demonstrate FCF on the FCF repo, of course, because that makes the most sense. So if I just type FCF by itself and just run it, that's just going to pull up the little FCF finder there, and I can go through and do that fuzzy matching, of course. So if I just type go and then, whatever else. So first of all, you can see, okay, it does match in subdirectories, which is really helpful. And if I, type whatever, tmux there, so that'll match that, right? And it's matching fuzzily, right? So it's showing, okay, this technically matches what I've typed here. It's got that go, and it's also got the characters T, M, U, and X. So, but it's still putting that tmux.go at the top there. So this is why fuzzy matching is really nice. And dmenu does this in a pretty similar way, but this one's directly on the command line. So if I just press enter there, that's going to send that to standard output, and I'll get to that in a few because that's really useful for scripting. But some of that shell integration I was talking about. So if I wanted to change directory, for example, so just cd, and then if I do a double star there, that's going to allow me, if I press tab, to just go directly into Fuzzy Finder there. So now I can use that Fuzzy Finder to, find a directory to change it into there. So I could, go to this directory, right? I can use it to copy something, right? I could double star and then tab, and figure out what I want to copy here. I could press enter on that, copy that to the previous directory if I wanted to. So that's really nice. And the other shell integration thing I wanted to point out is that it automatically has a setup for Fuzzy Finder with shell history. So if I press Control R, I think that's the default for it, that'll show my history, and then it'll also let me search with the Fuzzy Finder, which for shell history is actually really useful because, if you've ever forgotten a command, or, you typed a command and had arguments and it was like, I sort of remember it, but I'm not really sure what it was, and I can't really grep it because I don't remember it exactly, right? That's what this is really useful for. So I would say FCF standalone without even thinking about scripting is pretty useful on its own, but towards the scripting side of stuff. So first of all, I could go, in this directory and open something with NVim if I wanted to, while searching with Fuzzy Find. So I could use V, that's my keybind for NVim, or shortcut for NVim. So I could just use V-O and then put in these backwards quotes FCF. If you know the name for that character, let me know. I'm not sure what the name is, but it's on the top left of your keyboard. So V-O and then FCF there. So now I could, search through here and figure out, what I want to open, and go ahead and open that in NVim there. So that's nice by itself, but the unique feature that I was talking about that FCF, it really sets it apart, is the previewing. So if I wanted to preview that file, I could do V-O and then FCF and then -- preview, and then I can give it a command to preview. So if I give it the command less here, and we just preview that file with less, now we're actually previewing the files in this directory, and I could go through and search them as well. And having that preview, depending on, what your use case is, that could be really, really essential. So this is a great way to do that if you wanted file previews. And of course, there's other commands you could preview files with beyond just less. And I will put in the description, there is a program that will do color syntax highlighting for you. So I'll put that in the description. I don't actually really care about that, so I don't have that installed for this. But if you wanted, syntax highlighting, in your previews here, there is a way to do that. So I'll put that in the description. Anyways, and then because I use this with NVim, I can just go ahead and open that up with NVim. So this is really nice because you've got this command here, and you could set up a shell shortcut in your shortcut RC for that, and then run that command on the directory you're in, or run it on a specific directory if you're going to its directory very often, like for dot files, for example, because fuzzy find goes into subdirectories, right? If you have if you want to set up a shortcut to go to your dot files and then browse through your dot files with fuzzy find, that's really, really helpful. And then I want to go through a couple more examples here, just getting a little bit more complicated. I'm not going to do any full-on scripting today just because I have some other scripts that I want to go over at a different point for fuzzy find, and those, they'll be their own video. But just a couple more examples for today. This actually was, I got a comment on, I think it was my how to learn Linux video, asking, how do you search through man pages? How do I know what man pages are available? So there's a bunch of ways to do that, but we can actually do that with fuzzy find. So if I wanted to do man-k and then I put a dot, that's just going to list out man pages with a description. I could pipe that into FCS, so I can then look through them and you can see, okay, we've got the man page, we've got the description. I can go through here. Wine has a lot of man pages. And if I were to just press enter on something, right, that's just going to send it to standard output. So what I'm thinking here, okay, I want to be able to press enter and then actually run the man command on it. And I'll want to run the man command just on this first part here, this first field, because that's actually the command, right? So I can do FCF, and then I can then pipe that into awk, so I can just get that first field, so awk, and then print $1 there, oops, $1, close that out, and then I can pipe that into xargs, and I can just open that with man, so now if I, fuzzy find, like ZSH here, right, I can open that with man. So that's a nice little use case for fuzzy find, and of course you can set that up with a shortcut in your shell if you wanted to, or whatever implementation of that you're thinking. And the last thing I wanted to show is actually a fuzzy package search, just with preview as well, to search and see some package info. So if I just do yay-qq and pipe that into FCF, that's going to just show me package names, right? So that's using yay to just show me package names. I can send that to standard output. But I want to use the preview here to actually give me a little bit more info about those packages. So if I just do --preview, and then I do yay-qs and do that on the packages there. Well, first of all, if I just do this, I need an equals there. Preview equals that, and then so if I just do that, I'll get that preview window up with the yay-qs, so giving me the version and some more info about the package. So that's nice, and then I can just press enter, get that to standard output. And I can actually take this further and type it into xargs, and I can run yay-qi on it then, so then I can get full info, right? So I could do, yay-qi on this one, and that's going to give me the full info. And of course, you can set this up however you want. You could query, install, remove packages. Of course, there's, infinite things you can think of to do. Oh, and it's worth mentioning, you can also change the preview window location. So I could do preview dash window equals down, for example, and that'll put it below here. I could do, left, right. I think it's right by default. But, I can have the preview window on the left there. And of course, if I were to do man FCF here, there's tons of other options, and of course you can read through the documentation. I think they even have some example scripts on their GitHub as well. So really lots of different stuff you can do with this program. It's I'm not trying to put it up there as a replacement for dmenu, even though I think it actually says in the documentation somewhere you could replace dmenu with this. you could if you wanted to, but I think dmenu, being the minimalist program that it is, kind of has its own use case just because it's so minimal. But FZF is sort of similar with that fuzzy matching, and I'm sure you can think of lots of scripts to do with it, so hope this kind of got you started with it. If you didn't know about it, now you know about it. And yeah, I will see you next time. Peace!